such as the Boneyard match, we wondered what the Undertaker and AJ was going to do. Were they going to come out there and just have an empty arena match? I don't think the empty arena match would have did AJ and the Undertaker any justice. But for them to actually pull off a mini movie, that was pretty awesome. That you could follow the storyline and understand it, even from when the OCs came out, from when the Druids turned on the Undertaker.
That was good.
No, I'm serious. You know what I mean? It was like everything in that. To actually the Undertaker getting ready to get buried, and then to show up behind. Everything was as cinematic for me as I wanted it to be, because I always have been able to suspend my imagination and watch wrestling for what it is: entertainment, world wrestling entertainment. That's the way I've always been able to watch it. So when somebody give me a car chase and the car, hit the hill and turn, 3 rotations and then still keep going, I love it. You know what I mean? Give me more and more Fast and Furious.
Right.
And that's what we got a chance to see at WrestleMania. That's why I say, should we get more cinematic matches, going forward? I heard Matt Hardy talking about, these kind of matches, before. And now to actually be able to see them, happening, it's pretty cool.
I think that going into night 1, WrestleMania, I didn't know what to expect without there being any crowd there. And I will say, when the Boneyard match finally came up, I was like, man, I don't know what this is going to be. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this off. Like, we didn't even know what a Boneyard match was. We were still trying to figure out what are the rules, what does it mean? No one really knows. And as soon as it started, and you saw AJ come out of that coffin, right? You had the old Undertaker music playing. AJ rises up out of the coffin, and he he starts laughing, and the Druids are there, and then Undertaker came in on the bike. That's when it sold me. When Taker came in on the bike and he got off, he had the bandana on. He looked like an action star. He looked like an action hero from a movie from the 80s or something, And he got off the motorcycle, and then that, like you said, hey, Alan, where you at, Alan? And then they start going into it. I was sold. I really was surprised by how much I liked it. And then when they start chasing each other up on top of the roof, and Taker's tombstoning guys, and he choke slams AJ off the top through the thing, and I think that you couldn't have asked for a better match. And I saw Kurt Angle say something about he and Undertaker had a conversation a couple months ago, and Undertaker was a little bit underwhelmed, as was Goldberg, who talked about it on this on our show with their match in Saudi Arabia. He said, I need to redeem myself. And it was Kurt's idea. He said, you should have a match with AJ. He doesn't have a bad match with anybody. This is probably not the idea that they originally had to go to this Boneyard match. When you think AJ Styles versus The Undertaker, you're thinking, man, AJ is going to be working his butt off with Taker there in the 20x20 WrestleMania, 70,000 people. But for AJ Styles and Undertaker to go out there, and in my opinion, especially on that first night, steal the show, that's a big notch in the belt for both those guys. Yeah. And I know Undertaker has to be happy with the reaction that he's gotten from this match.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm sure he's happy about it, because it's the first time it's ever been done. And for the first time for it to be done, and Undertaker's a part of it, as well as for it to be a success, is huge. It's huge. They say it took 8 hours to shoot that whole thing. Yeah. And it trips me out, because I think with Stone Cold Steve Austin and I in the grocery store, it took us about 10 minutes.
One shot.
one shot. That thing was done. So it's crazy to see how television has advanced to that point now, to where we can be able to go out there and do that kind of stuff and give those kind of. But I think it's all due to what's going on right now with this corona virus out there. You got to try to find a way to be, still be able to give fans, a little bit of something, just like me right now, Taco Tuesday. You know what I mean? I'm getting ready to do some raised ribs Wednesday, and then I'm going to throw it out on Thursday with some chicken wings or something, I'm just going to just throw anything out there and see what sticks. But that's what you got to do right now. WWE did a hell of a job at WrestleMania. I loved it.
Do you think, because after WrestleMania last night, they showed like a little highlight of Undertaker The Last Ride, a documentary series about him winding down on his career. If you're The Undertaker and you just went out at WrestleMania 36, after competing in your first one at WrestleMania 7, you just went out at WrestleMania 36, You know, in 30 years, you've only missed like 3 WrestleManias. You went out there and you have the match that everybody is talking about as their favorite match from the entire WrestleMania card. How do you not look at it and say, you know what? Let me Peyton Manning Super Bowl this thing and say, I had the best match on WrestleMania. Maybe this is it. Maybe I back up here. Maybe the Boneyard is the last time you see the Undertaker. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but would it be the wrong move to make?
I think so. I think the Undertaker still got a little left in the tank, as well as if we did not see the Undertaker at next year's WrestleMania, we'll feel like we missed something. We're like, man, this WrestleMania was different. Undertaker wasn't here, you know. So I think just like the Undertaker said, you know, when they did that profile on him, you know, I think the Undertaker is going to be around as long as he can muster up the strength to walk to that ring. And I think that's pretty much going to sum it up right there. If he can do that, he's gonna show up. Because sometimes, you know, this business, man, is tricky. It's different than any other animal. I mean, this drug is so powerful. I'm not saying that he can't walk away from it or anything like that, but you know, when it's all over with, you know, it's over. It's done. And like you just said there a second ago, 30 years, the Undertaker been walking that out. 30 years is a lifetime for a lot of people. You know what I mean? So I say, if it's something that he loves and it's something that he can will himself to actually, you know, do, I say do it until you can't do it no more. Jerry Lawler right now is what, 75?
He's in his 70s.
Yeah, and he's still out there doing shows. He's still getting booked on matches. Bullet Bob Armstrong, he's dealing with cancer right now. He actually refused to take treatment for it. And Bullet Bob is like in his 80s. And the photo that he posted on social media was him in the gym on the lap pool. You know what I mean? Still putting in work. You know what I mean? So certain guys that you know, have walked this lifestyle, you can't tell them when it's time to quit. It'll be time, you know, and when that time comes, trust me, I think they'll know it.
Yeah, I think that with Taker though too, with his personality, his character, you can have endless amounts of things that you can do with him, and I think this Boneyard match was the latest illustration of that. Of just when you think Undertaker can't go out there and do it anymore, he goes out and has the best. He had, in my opinion, that was the best match on WrestleMania. It wasn't the most traditional match. Sure, it was cinematic. There was 8 hours with cuts and edits and all this. It was my favorite match from the show. And I just got to give big kudos to Undertaker and AJ Styles for pulling that off. I mean, it was really so much fun.
It was my favorite match of the show, I think, as well. I think it was the best match. The best, you know, I wouldn't even call it a match. I don't know what to call it, but it was the best part of WrestleMania for me. That's what these guys going out, and it looked like a good fight. Now, it looked like a great movie. And the thing is, you know, what I like about movies is you give a guy one shot and he go away. If you remember those Druids, Taker hit those guys one time and they disappeared. They disappeared. Just like on the Blade, you know, Blade cut somebody, they, you know what I mean, just implode, you know. So it was like that. So for me watching it, it's really, really cool. It was really, really cool. And hopefully, like I said, we'll see a whole lot more of, you know, stuff like that going forward. I think a lot of guys missed out on the show just due to certain reasons. And I'm sure they were at home watching it going, man, I wish I was there, man.